It's 11. It's 11 and we're here.
And we're here. We're not a minute early, but we're here.
We're here. We've been here.
We have.
Just without you.
And we're all together. Marlene's back.
Marlene's back.
Yay! Marlene's tan.
Very tan.
I'm mad at her.
You.
I don't have tanning
You should
abilities.
go on vacation with her, with me. It's like waiting.
No. I get freckles, I get sunburnt, I get what I call a tan, which is really just a light beige. I don't get a tan.
I get pink. I get pink.
Pink. I get lots of freckles.
Morning, Charlie. Morning, Annette.
How is the weather over in Connecticut, Charlie?
Diana.
It's nice here. The sun's just not out. So it's not so bad.
Hi, Bob, and welcome back, Marlene.
Thank you.
Charlie.
I just stopped talking and just sat there for a second and just like forgot what I was doing.
Here. She
Woo!
went into a, you know. She went into the zone.
It was a glitch for a second.
Overcast and chilly in Connecticut.
It's kind of the same. It's supposed to be
here.
65 here. I just don't know what the sun situation is. And the sun always makes it better.
Yeah.
So.
73 and clear in Texas. Thanks, Trisha.
Ah, Trisha. I understand. And how is Florida, Marlene?
It was like 93 degrees.
93?
And sunny. 90, 93 every day.
Really humid?
Went to the beach, went to the pool. Wasn't humid.
Wasn't
Went
here?
to the beach, went to the pool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little jealous. I'm not going to say I'm not. But that's all right. We're here. So before we get started, we're going to talk about templates today, which I already told you guys. And we have a new cork, which I'm very excited about. And thank you, Jose, because you must have known and you put it on the outside of the roll. So, because it was the only one I wanted to cut before Facebook. So I thought we would start with a little Eric update because, you know, you guys always like to know. And I have a funny story to tell you. And they don't know. So I get to get their reaction live. It's really funny. So,
Lord only knows with him.
well, last night I was sitting on the couch and I'm like, I just got back from Log Cabin. If you watched Log Cabin, unfortunately, you had to hear our entire rundown of why April was the worst month ever. Our thesis on April sucks. So hopefully we are done and that will never happen again. We had a bad April and a lot of other people did too. So I'm hoping that May is better to us. So I'm home and I'm looking through my TikToks and looking at drafts and trying to think of what I want to post. And nothing was striking me. And so Eric was sitting at his new desk. He still won't get away from my sewing machine. So he's sitting there and we're sitting there and I said, are you in the mood for a TikTok? Because, you know, they've been asking for you. I'm just saying. And that's really all you have to tell him. So he was like, okay. So I'm going through sounds and I found that sound and I was like, all right, what do you think? And so he's got to do his process. So he sat there and did his thing at the sewing machine. So he is feeling up for TikToks. He's still not working, but that's okay. He hasn't driven me too crazy yet. But I have to tell you, and you guys you'll appreciate this. So last week I gave you our whole update in the hospital and all the drama. I didn't tell you completely why we're at the hospital. I have permission. Don't worry. It's okay. I'm allowed to say this. I'm not just outing my husband and telling everybody. I told you he had an infection. I told you he had surgery. What I didn't tell you is what the surgery was on. You will need this context for what I'm going to tell you afterwards. So, unfortunately for my husband, he can only count to 19 now because he is missing a toe. We won't get into details. Trust me. Majority of you do not want to know any more than that. So, and it's not his big toe. It's his second toe. So he can walk fine. He walks. He does everything fine. He still can drive, but makes me drive him to his doctor's appointments. I'm like, I feel like I didn't have kids for a reason, but now I'm like, we go to leave yesterday for a doctor's appointment. He just gets in the passenger seat. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You don't drive at all anymore. And also, why do I have to go with you? So I'm like, okay, so we're going to go to the doctor's appointment. I'm going to be obnoxious as I always am. And so we're standing at the reception desk checking in. Now, this girl doesn't know us. She's never met us before. She has no idea what the situation at hand is. And he says something like very briefly, this is what happened. This is why I'm here. And so I said, so she needs the copay, which of course he looks at me. So I'm like, so I'm your driver and I have to pay for you. I'm really getting the short end of the stick here. So as she walks away to get a piece of paper, but is still in earshot, I said, yeah, and I'm just here to find out when it's going to grow back. And I see this girl kind of over her shoulder, like, I don't know what exactly they're talking about, but okay. So then she comes over and I was like, I just want to ask the doctor when we should expect the toe to come back. And she's looking at me and I said, I'm legitimately kidding. And she goes, right, of course. And I was like, I'm not that crazy. And I said, I haven't met him before. Is he funny? And she goes, oh, he'll totally think it's funny. Do it. I was like, okay, perfect. So we're sitting there waiting. And at the Bone and Joint Center, they don't have rooms. You're in like little cubbies almost, kind of like a mini emergency room. So he's sitting here and I'm sitting here. They come over, take his bandage off, and he's sitting with his shoe off. Now, my husband has a new talent. I don't know how great it is. I don't know what we can do with this. So imagine that this is his foot. These are the 4 remaining toes, except there's a big old gap here, okay? So we got the big toe and the other 3, and there's a big old gap here. Well, this toe was broken, so it's stiff. It doesn't bend. My husband can now do this with his foot and flip you off, which he consistently did the entire time we were waiting. So, and that's not even the best part. So the doctor comes over. They're doing their thing, looking, everything's great. Stitches are out. Foot looks great. Fantastic. Eric asks him something. They're having a conversation. And so all of a sudden, Eric goes, I think my wife has a question for you. And I'm like, here we go. So very seriously, as serious as possible. And remember, this guy is standing over me. I'm sitting in a chair. So he's looking down at me. And he's like, go ahead. I said, I'm the kind of person that likes to do a lot of research. I'm always looking into things. And I keep reading like 75% chance. But I just want to ask you as a medical professional what your opinion is and what your information is on this. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Waiting for this amazing question. I said, when will we know if it's going to come back? And he pauses. And I said, like, would we know by now? And he's looking down at me over his mask. And all I can see are his eyes. And he goes, the toe? I said, yeah, should we expect it to grow back soon? And he doesn't know what to say. And I go, I'm totally joking. And he goes, okay. And he goes, well, I'm glad you two are in a good mood today. So I'm pretty sure that for a split second, this man was thinking, psych eval, okay. So yes, so apparently the toe is not going to grow back, but he can flip me off now with his 2 hands and his foot. And that is Eric's super talent. Yes, as my sister says, sandals are out. And at least flip-flops.
Unless he wears socks.
Unless he wears socks, but he's not a big flip-flop person. And yeah, so that's where we're at. And his dreams of becoming an Olympic swimmer are also out. That is what he likes to tell everybody. I didn't know he had this dream beforehand, but he does. So, as you can see, life in the Vandenberg house is pretty much back to the way it normally was. But bandages are off and I don't have to change them anymore, and everything looks good. So we're one down. Still on the antibiotic fun train, but bandages are gone and he doesn't need them anymore, and he can drive himself, but he's not going to.
He won't.
So he won't. No. All I said to him, I had a dentist appointment the other day, and I knew that he had one coming up, and I asked her to remind me what time. And I said, you have a dentist appointment on this day at this time. Like, is that still good? Did you want to change it because it's late in the afternoon? And he goes, it's a Wednesday? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, you'll be around. You can take me. Okay.
I would love to see this.
Really
Yeah.
Cindy says, we have a friend that lost his big toe and he wears flip-flops. How?
How?
do you do that?
How? I need to know how. I have questions.
Does he stick it between the other toes?
That must be, well, that is interesting. Yeah, so.
They want a TikTok of Eric flipping people off with his foot.
It is literally the funniest thing ever, but it's really annoying when he's pointing his foot at me. Yeah, I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
So I went like that. I go, knock it off. And this PA comes walking by me and he goes, hey now. He goes, we don't tolerate violence around here. I go, I was stretching my arm. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, that looked like a bitch slap about to happen. So as he leaves, he comes back and he touches me on the shoulder and he goes, how's your arm feeling? I was like, much better, thank you. So at least they were funny. So that is where we're at. But I will ask Eric if we can do a TikTok of his middle toe. I guess it's not a middle finger, but he still flips you off. So that's all. And I did ask him this morning. I said, and can I tell them because it's just funny? And he goes, yeah, go ahead. So before we talk about templates or Eric's toe anymore, I think we're done with that. We got new cork, and also we keep running out of cork, which is fine. It is totally fine. As Barb said to me right before we started, wow, you ordered a whole lot of cork, because I made them a list so they knew what was coming. Everything comes at different times. It's from different vendors, but we have a ton on order. So some of it I caught, and it says it on the website, and some of it I missed, and so you might get a note in your order that says it's coming. Excuse me. We're doing the best we can, and I have a lot on order. But we have something new. This was the one I told you about last week. I showed you the little sample. Isn't this cute? So this is our little puzzle pieces, and I brought matches. I put the matches, the color matches on the website, but I also brought them because they're just cute. So look at lemon. Perfect. And these are a good size. They're about 1 inch, so they're great for like a lot of projects. So we've got lemon, the creamsicle from last week.
it's perfect.
Looks really nice because the orange is a little bit, the orange will probably be okay because there's like a red, which I forgot to grab a red, but there's like a peachy. It's not quite the same, but this is one of those where I don't, unless you're a matchy person, I think you could mix different colors and it would be okay. The aqua
Looks beautiful.
looks great. Lavender is almost an identical match.
Yep.
And spearmint is the closest green that we have, but it still
looks really
works
good.
nice. But look at these. Look at the polka dots. Like, how cute are those?
They look really cute with it.
Right?
Yep.
So I love mixing polka dots with everything. So that is on the website. It's right on the top of the cork
Lots of the new
page.
neutral.
You could do something neutral. You could do the cream, or you could even do
No,
the
polka
natural.
dots
Oh,
are the
polka
new-
dots are a good neutral.
It's like 65 is the new 40. Yeah.
Yes. And my brain stopped working in my 20s. So that's all I can tell you. All right, so let's talk about templates because I think I can handle this. So where do I want to start? I don't even know. Well, let's start with where you can find them if you haven't looked yet. On the website, there's a separate page. So it's in the drop-down menu, depending on where you're looking. If you're on your phone, pretty much everything is in the little drop-down menu, and I think it's like in the middle. If you're on the website, look all the way to the right, and there's a little thing that says more. I don't think it says more on your phone. And Sue had said that the other day in the group. I think it's different on the mobile part, but just click the drop-down menu, and it says templates, and they're on there. Templates are made to order, so they are not going to ship. If you ordered one yesterday, they're not going to ship today. So just so you know that. We are still shipping Mondays and Fridays for right now. And as I said, I don't like advertising that, but just so you have an idea, we're shipping 2 times a week. I did do a bunch of orders on Tuesday. There you go. So this is the drop-down menu on the website, so everything's here. And templates is right under zippers. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just on there. It's just where it went. So they're on there. You do have a selection of colors. Your colors are right up at the top, just like on the cork page. Everything is not available in every color, and I'll show you why. There's a couple of rulers that templates that you are going to want to be able to see through. If you can't see through them, they're not going to work as well. That being said, if you do any of these kind of chunky glitters or the pearls, you can't see through them. That is fine. I picked those for the templates that they will work on, but just so that you know, you don't get this home and you're like, well, I can't see anything through it. You don't need to for all of them. I will show you the ones that you really do and the ones that you don't. And I kind of separated those. One thing, and I want your opinions on this too, where you would go. No, because I'm curious.
Where would I go?
You guys, you threw me for a loop. I can tell you that. I'm imagining myself, maybe, I don't know if you guys are like this, where I see all these options and I'm like, well, I'm going to pick 2 and I'm going to make my whole set like a matching set, 1 or 2 colors. Not a single one of you did that. Every one that ordered multiple templates, they're all different colors.
I would be
Would you
different colors.
You would be different colors? I'm like a matchy person.
I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Well, if I'm looking for
just
the
gotta
rue
remember-
bag, and it's
You
orange,
know that
I
it's
know
orange.
If I'm
Okay.
looking for this other
if
thing,
you
I know that I
remember
picked
it's
a different. Well, I would have to write out a color code to find it.
And I'm assuming
post it
that's...
on the
I
wall.
would have them all in a box and go
And they'd
right
all
through
be
them.
out
And just
there.
keep
They'd all
looking,
be
looking,
eye gloves
looking. Yes.
sometimes.
Yours would all be
I
blues and
can't find it. I
aquas.
can't
Yeah.
find it.
And that's what I assume is the reason that you guys did it, because then you're like, well, I know that this template is this color and this one's this color. But I was not expecting that. I was expecting like majority of people will be like, I picked all pinks and purples. And it's not. It's so scattered. And it's the
Really?
funniest thing ever. And I don't know why. Like the first order that came in, I looked and I went, oh, okay. And then the next one was the same way. And the next one, and I went, well, that's weird.
Well, Rebecca says she'd order all teal. Barb DeWire says she ordered all orange.
Did you order? Okay, so there was one. I didn't look. I stopped looking after a
I
while.
looked, yeah.
I stopped looking after a while because I was like, well, that's very weird to me. But it's funny. You expect certain things to go a certain way and then they don't, which is fine. So going back to the website, to the templates, they are also, and this is all written out on top of the website, they are all, as I said, made to order, and there is a lead time on them that is longer than most of our other items because, number one, I knew there was going to be an influx in the very beginning. Whenever there's a new product, there's always going to be that chunk of orders that comes in, and then it, you know, it dwindles out and it's a little here and there. The other reason is, and don't think I'm completely bonkers, but I do this for you, these are hand painted, okay? And I'm not sitting there painting like this. It's not that. But these numbers are painted by me because if you see on this clear one, you see how those letters and the lines look? On anything else that's a color, this is very hard to read. On the clear, it's not a problem because it kind of turns white. On some of the other ones, I don't have any nearby, it's hard to see the letters.
How are you painting them?
With a paintbrush?
You slap it on and wipe it off and then clean it up.
Okay.
So it's a whole second part of the
Are we
process.
gonna have
So
a painting party someday?
no, my sister will be home. And I told her she has a job as soon as she gets home
she's got
because
a
she is unemployed until August.
Oh,
So
there you go.
so that is another reason. And I chose to do that for you because I'm such a nice person, but also because I wanted them to be clear for you to see. I wanted you to be able to see the
them
letters.
now. Yeah.
Sometimes, like daybreak, does it really matter? Does it really, like, those don't mean anything? But if I'm like, I have other templates that are kind of the similar size. What was this one for? At least it's easy to read. So, and unfortunately, our eyesight doesn't
Oh,
improve.
will you clarify to, let's see, Bobby, that you have...
Yes, we'll get there.
Okay, she's already asking.
This about the hole? There's, if it, I was going to get there, but we'll answer it now. If it doesn't have the hole in it for its purpose, there is a hole in it to hang it up. I'm not going to put additional holes in things that don't need them, but there is a hole in anything that doesn't already have one. So that is, it's already there. It's on here. I'll get to those as we get to each one of them, but there is a hole so you can hang them up, clip them together, do whatever you want with it. So let's take a look at which ones we have. So I did Daybreak, and this is just a cute little one because why wouldn't you want that? This one in particular, just this little curve, it's just to do the curvy part of the wallet. That's it. And you can turn it over. And the reason I did this is because I don't know why, but when I mark it out and I try to cut it with scissors, it's like, okay, but it's not great. I cut into my paper. I try to use a rotary cutter. It's not perfect. So nice little curve. And you know what? Sometimes having these around, you find other reasons and other uses for them. You're like, I need a little curve. So there is Daybreak. Daybreak does not matter if you can see through it. So if you pick something like this that you can't see through, it doesn't matter because you're putting it on your pieces of cork and you're just lining it up like that. And you're just cutting. So this one doesn't matter. This one can be in anything that you want, and it really doesn't matter if you can see through it or not. I have random colors here because I was trying stuff out. So, and this is the hot pink. So, just so you can see that. So Daybreak, that was an easy one. I'm going to skip that one for now. I'm going to go to this one. So this one I showed you guys last week. This is a set. So, hold it upright. There you go, Jessica. Okay. So this is your curved corner and your dart set. This is the large. The reason it's called large and it doesn't have a pattern name is because it works with 5 different patterns. For now,
That's awesome.
You never know. It could work with more in the future. So they have the holes in them. These, again, you don't need to see through because you're just cutting the curve or you're cutting the dart. And I mentioned this last week and I'll mention it again. These are 1/8 of an inch. So if you want to cut with your rotary cutter, you can put your cutter right up against it just like you do a ruler. With darts, it can be a little bit hard, but at least you can get them started and then finish with scissors. Or if you'd rather mark and cut with scissors, you can do that too. So this one, and this is listed on there, it works with Tabitha. Okay, we don't talk about Tabitha very often. I have to do something new with Tabitha.
Yeah.
It works with Emily. Emily is the blue one that's behind me right there. It works with Evie, which is the one, I don't know which way it goes, to the right. And I have one right here for you. It also works with Fiona. And it works with, does it work with Adeline? I must have because I grabbed it. It works with Adeline. I don't know. So here's one thing to note. Fiona, for instance, has this center accent. If you want a separate template for that, if you want me to do a Fiona set, I can do that. And I'm going to add more as we go. Unfortunately, it's just been crazy and I've been trying to get everything done and I wanted these to be ready to release this week. And so did you guys because you started emailing me as soon as Facebook was over last Friday. I appreciate your enthusiasm. But I got several emails as soon as Facebook was over saying, when and where are they? And I was like, they're not there yet. Hold on. So it did take me a couple days. I am going to work through and put more up. And here's the great thing. Because they're made to order, I can make a set, put it on the website, and if it's not a big seller, it's okay. And if it sells 100 of them, that's great too. So it's kind of a nice thing because I'm not outsourcing and having to put product out there and find a place to put it. Where would we put these? Order 100, 1,000, 500. My minimums for certain things are insane.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to order 1,000 of these things. Where am I going to put them? So it's kind of nice. And then I also don't have to be like, we only get this one color. You guys can have any color you want. And I gave you, 12, 13, 14 options? Trust me, that was hard. I was like, I want to put them all on there. I can't. So I narrowed that down as best as I could. So when you're doing a certain bag, if you want a template set, I'm going to start working on putting them out there. I only did one full template set for one bag for Rue because Rue is very popular and it was also requested a couple times, and we'll get to Rue in a minute. But this one I love because you can use it with so many different things and you have lots of options. So this is the large corner set. In the description, it tells you what patterns it works with. So this piece right here is for your darts. Right here. So you have that that curved, pinched in bottom. So it's not for every bag that has that. Remember, there are some bags that have a different bottom, and I haven't gotten to those yet. And then it also has this part, which works for your flap. So the list of patterns that are on there, some of them use both, some use one, some use the other, but at least you get a lot of bang for your buck with these. And I don't like that saying because it sounds weird, but there is no other one. So get a great deal for your money. So there we go. And I've decided that I want every one of mine to be sparkly.
I like this.
But I'm probably just going to end up taking a bunch of them home and then losing them like I do everything else. But like, look at that.
I like that.
I mean, come on. How do you not want everything to be sparkly? And this one's called Jam, and it's chunky. It's chunky, which cracks me up. Okay, so there's that. Well, it's in front of me. Let's get to Rue. So Rue is a big one. Rue is pricey because acrylic is expensive. So that is why. But you get the entire bottom right here with the feet placement. So much easier to cut around. And you also have the same placement for your feet. Yes, I did the large circles just like I do in the pattern so that you can mark them. I like to make the markings easy. I don't want like little tiny holes. So like it's just easier that way. Now, to answer any questions you have about why this part, which is for this, why is it in 3? Because, couple things. Trying to put this together backwards is not easy. Trying to make this into a very long, thin ruler, the shipping was going to be a nightmare.
Oh my God.
It was going to be horrible. And there was a 90% chance that yours was going to come broken. So instead of doing that to you and to me, if we do them as pieces, they're easier for you. So imagine if you're going to a retreat and you're like, hey, I can put this into a little bag instead of this giant ruler that I'm probably going to break. How many people have gone to a class or a retreat and broken their rulers? I have. So you have them. Now they don't click together, but they fit together perfectly. So if you want this at home and you're never going to take it anywhere and you want to add a little bit of tape on there and you want to hold it together for yourself, that's fine. Or you could glue it if you want to, whatever you want to do. I have a ruler, I used to have one, that was glued because I broke it. My dog knocked it off the table and snapped it in half, so I glued it together. It lasted for a while that way. But at home, you can do whatever you want with this set. For me, I would rather have it in pieces because I work in 2 different places. So I like that. It sits together. You can just sit it right on top of your cork or your fabric and mark. And now you have markings for your grommets because we're always trying to find an easier way to mark grommets.
Yeah.
So, and Rue, again, is another one that I don't feel like you need to see through. You could do this in any of them because what does it matter? Once I line this up, unless I'm trying to fussy cut, which why would I fussy cut the bottom?
Yeah, really.
You know, once I line this up, I can see that my fabric is sticking out on the edges. I can just go ahead and mark. And the same with this, because I'm going to line it up on the top edge anyway. So these, you don't have to see through. So, any questions so far? We're good?
Did you make them in blue for me?
I haven't made another set of this. I know that you two are going to want them. So you'll tell me what you want, because that's how it always goes. I give them whatever they want.
She's a good boss.
I try. Marlene's not putting her 2 cents
I
in.
said,
I'm just kidding. Marlene's trying to get me to pay for another trip to Florida
yes,
for her.
I am.
Okay, after I spit on myself. So, I'm going to get to, I think these are my favorites. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I think these are my favorite
I think
ones.
they're adorable.
And yes. So, first things first, this one. This one, the box corners. I did add 1/2 inch. Okay, so it goes from 1/2 inch to 4 inch. So this can go all the way up to a Taurus tote bag. I don't have anything with 4 inch corners, but if you need 4 inch, you have 4 inch.
It's great. You could use that for anything.
Really, I mean, and
could square up
any
blocks
of
with
your
that.
squares, and I put the line in the middle here, the 45-degree angle. So if you need to use this for squaring up, it's not an actual ruler, so there aren't the lines in between. So when you want something 3/4 of an inch or 1 3/4, it's not on there. If you want to mark it yourself, go right ahead. But the reason I didn't is because more lines was going to get more confusing. Because I have the measurements. If I didn't have the measurements there, it wouldn't have been so bad. But I wanted these to be large so that you could see them. So that's why it's in 1/2 inch increments. And this is so easy to use.
So old people don't have to get their cheaters.
Exactly, so that you can see it. You can see it from a good distance. So I have the bottom of my bag. I need to cut a 2 inch corner. I line it up just like that.
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
it. And then I cut. I prefer this to be see-through. It doesn't have to be, I guess, no, because you could always use the edge of your fabric and the lines, but I feel like that's adding another challenge. Marlene agrees. She's shaking her head. So I kept this one with the clear options. You can do the transparent, and also we finally got the big piece of this in.
Yeah, that's so,
So
pretty.
pretty.
So you can get sparkles. It doesn't have to be plain. You can
I'll
get
take one of
sparkles.
those in sparkles,
You want sparkles?
please.
Got it. Okay, Marlene and Barb want sparkles. Because why not? And I think it's easier to see. When you think about your quilting rulers, they're clear, but they have black, pink, yellow, whatever written on it. You can see the lines. So this is super easy. You can line it right up. You can mark it. You can cut it. You can do whatever you want. You just keep moving it to whatever position you want. So,
Good idea.
and I am still going to look for the original because I have to find it. I have to show you this piece of absolute junk, but it worked for me.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked. And I ignored all of the lines on the ruler and I just wrote it in Sharpie. I have to find it. You will crack up when you see that thing. I know, I don't think I would have thrown it out because it still made
Probably
me
not.
laugh.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in my house. So that is the box corner ruler. Template ruler, whatever you want to call this one. Again, I'm going to say it again. I can't always do every single thing that you want, but if you see something and you have an idea, tell me. Because if it's something that I'm already thinking or 5 other people have asked for it, I'm going to work on it. And a lot of you asked me for a zipper template. I am working on it because I want that too. I want to have an easy way to draw out my zipper. It's still going to be written the way it is in the pattern, but I will work on that. I just have to make sure that mine is mine. I don't want it to look just like somebody else's. And I have an idea. I'm just trying to kind of work that out. Again, I'm learning too many computer programs at the same time. And I'm a nurse. So, yes.
Not a very good, no.
Not a very good nurse. I'm part-time now.
You're a nervous nurse.
I'm a nurse. You know what? I'm not as nervous anymore.
See,
I
I
have
told you.
finally calmed down.
She thought she was going to kill him in the beginning.
Listen. Somebody on YouTube agreed with me too and was like, isn't it amazing how they just send you home? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, so you don't have a medical degree? Yeah, you'll be fine. Just don't kill him. Good luck. So far, I haven't killed him. We'll see how it goes. Yes.
Question. Can you make a 2 inch square with just a 3/4 inch marking? Thinking for the small boxy pouch.
I can, yes, but if I'm going to do something with the in-between sizes, maybe I should do it different. You know, instead of just having one mark.
Do one that's like
that's
3/4,
quarters.
1.5.
Exactly.
2 1/4.
So, yeah, you do the quarters right now. You're rattling them out. So I can work on some other things. Yes. What'd she say?
She calls me. She goes, "Do you have your math hat on today?"
I thought you said meth head.
That's what she meant.
Are you a meth head today? Tell us. Leave us a comment. So,
Don't believe them, guys.
and yes, this one has a little
hole.
hole in the
Oh,
corner.
yeah.
Has a little hole in the corner.
That's for your pegboard.
For my
with all
pegboard.
For your
rollers.
pegboard, you can
Yeah.
get those little binder. They're called book
the
rings,
rings.
binder
Rings.
rings. You can get a box of those on Amazon for a couple bucks. We use them for a ton of stuff. I use them. I used to use them at shows to hang things. You can also get the little chains.
Yeah.
You can do the keychain things, or you can even get the little
little
bead.
chain.
Those
That's-
pop
yeah.
together. You can find something if you don't have it, or something you've already bought came with it. Don't throw it out. I save a lot of stuff.
Or
I
you
never
could
know
buy
where
one
I
of
do
our
it.
long chains and just
There you go.
There.
We're almost out of chains, but
Yeah,
hey, if you
there
want
you
one,
go. There you
grab
go.
one now. It's a
And
great
they're a
use for
twofer.
it.
Hang it up and it's a twofer. Hang
This
it
is
up,
one
there
of
you
those
go.
moments where I feel like I'm on QVC. And also,
Because you can put it around your neck. And
but
you're
wait,
right there.
for
You're not
4
gonna lose
easy
them.
payments. Okay, let's get out of that.
$3.99 a month.
Of $3.99 a month for the next 78 months.
Financing is that?
Oh God, no, we're not putting that out there. Okay,
God.
so which one do I want next? Let's talk about rivets. Okay, so the rivets are, again, one that you definitely want to see through. I tried it with not see through stuff, not good. But I'm not going to hold.
good.
I'm not going to hold this one up for you. I'm going to hold up this one. This one is almost see through, so that is why this is not an option. Also, sometimes I have a hard time getting colors again because I ordered like a spaz like for months and then don't know where the colors came from, and then the person doesn't make them anymore. So that is why this purple is not available. I would not do this in this because you want to see your handles through it. So you have your markings on here. I'm going to show you with this one, and then I'll show you how to use it on the clear one so you can see it. So on this side, we have 1 inch. 1 inch centered, 1 inch double. These from center to center of the rivet are a 1/2 inch apart. So that's a lot of rivets. You don't have to do all of them. You could do every other. You can space them out how you want. Same thing on this. From here to here is a 1/2 inch. In between is about 1/4 inch for on center. So you have some different options. Even if you're using this ruler and finding different ways to manipulate it and turn it, it's keeping everything straight for you. Because I don't know about you, but I put in 2 rivets that look great, and then I put in 2 more, and they're like, and they're never even. And I made the holes big enough for you to actually get your pencil in there and make a good mark, so that you're not trying to make a tiny mark and then line up your, your little hole punch, which I showed you guys this last week. I use the 2.5 punch. Once I get my pencil in here and make a mark and I do the hole, it pretty much gets rid of whatever mark, so it's gone anyway. On the left, whatever way you're looking at this, my left, is 1.5.
Right.
So the right, I don't know.
This
So
hand is the right.
this is my right
That's your
hand,
left.
1 and 1. This is my left hand, 1.5 and 1.5. And I did the same thing. Now these marks in between, they might represent your top stitching, or they're just 1/4 inch marks. So if you have something in between those, you can kind of, use that as a guide. Again, that's why you're going to want it clear. Now this doesn't have any extra holes because I think there's enough. So you can grab one of these and put it on your chain. And I don't know if you'll see the marks I made. If you can, ignore them. So here's a 1 inch handle, and I'm just going to line it up right here. And I'm going to decide where I want my rivets. So I can make my marks right down there, or I line it up here and I do the double. And then I also have my 1.5 inch, same thing. See? So you just line that up. I can do a single row. Single row is dead center. The double row is 1/4 inch in on each side. So you still have enough room to not go through your top stitching and to have some nice spacing. Now, you don't like that? Move it over here. You want them tighter together? You have some different options. This is very exciting to me. I loved how this came out, and it's fun to watch the cutter do all the circles. There is acrylic confetti everywhere. And I keep finding more of it because you take it out and you pull all the little circles out, and then I'm cutting cork this morning and they're falling out of somewhere. I was like, where are they coming from? I think they're growing out of me. They're everywhere. I kept finding purple dots all over the place.
I have a suggestion.
Yes, give them to me.
A template club.
Template club. Template club. Well, that means I need to make more templates
That's
then.
right.
More time at my Glowforge.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can do that. You want to know what the only thing I will complain about with the Glowforge, the only downfall? It is loud. It is so loud. I want to make a video to show you guys how loud it is. The downfall is it's in the studio, so I can't have things running and make a video. That's the only problem, because it is like, it's louder than air conditioning. Like, it's just like, you hear this whooshing the whole time. So that's the only problem I have. This weekend, I can use it while I cut cork, but I can't film a video and use the Glowforge. So, wah-wah, you know, first world problems. But that's the only problem I have with it.
Life's a bitch sometimes.
Sometimes it is. This is 5 inches square. Okay, the reason that this is 5 inches square is because of the measurements going this way. I can't really adjust that without it being kind of weird, and making it taller wasn't making any
So that's a
difference.
5 inch square?
So this is a 5 inch square.
There's another multi-use.
Another multi-use. You're like, wait, I have a 5 inch square. I can do something with that. So somebody had said, could you make it a 6 inch? So it's like perfect between the handles. I can't because of these measurements. It would have thrown things off and it would have made it more complicated, and I try not to make things too complicated. I try. Okay. I think this might be my favorite, even though it is so simple, and I was not going to do this one. Somebody, actually several somebodies last week said, could you do something for Sydney? So, the little Sydney wallet. And I was like, but it's all rectangles. What kind of template would you want for that? And I got a lot of, for the window, for the ID window. We want help cutting that. So, I'm very excited about this one. Yes, it has a hole. No, it doesn't matter if you can see through it. This one doesn't matter either. So, everything you do is going to start down here on the bottom. You're going to be using the bottom part for your measuring. I have my A piece right here. Okay, A is 4.5 by 8. So, if I lay this right here, line up that bottom edge, I mark my zipper. So there's my zippered opening.
Oh, you're so clever.
Can you use it with your rotary cutter to cut? Yes. It's a little awkward. It's not the easiest thing to cut because you can't get super close. If you have like a little rotary cutter, it would probably be better. I did use it. I did also cut myself, but that's a whole other story. So yes, you can. And I did start it and then I finished it with scissors. It wasn't my favorite thing to do, but hey, the marking is done and I don't have to measure it. So now I need to cut out the window. So I grab B. I had a B. Where's the B? Well, I don't know where it went.
Under that ruler?
I don't know. No, I had an actual blue P. Whatever. Okay, so.
There it is. No.
No? All right. Well, it's cut. But I take my cork that's not cut. We'll pretend this is a B. There we go. And again, I line it up on the bottom edge, right there. And it should come to this line, right there. And I mark or cut my little window.
Oh, cool.
And then I have my B. So, those are the two pieces you're going to cut. It's not a complete set. It's not going to cut the card pockets and all the other little things, but it cuts the fussy stuff. Yeah. So, I think for the size, it doesn't take up too much room. Yep. It is 4.5 by 5 inches, so it's small. You can put it wherever you want it. I don't know where you want to put it. It's got a little hole. I put the hole on the side instead of up here because I liked how the letters looked. So that was just an aesthetic thing. But that, if you're making a bunch of Sydneys, you don't have to keep measuring out your zippered opening and fussing. And if you're holding this on top of a piece of cork to do your measuring, the cork isn't shifting around when you're trying to get that opening cut. And you can. This is big enough. You can cut in here. This one's a little bit harder. You can do kind of the long edges and then leave it at that. Don't try to do anything else and move your fingers. Whatever. So that's what that one cuts. So those are all the templates that I have for now. And I have heard all of you. I hear what you want. I have others to work on. I have other patterns that I want to work on. I am making a smaller dart. I don't know if it's a set or not for like Alice. And I think it works on the,
What about the Brook?
On the free bag that was from the magazine that I still have to make a video. Brooke. So I didn't have a Brooke pattern. I printed out the template for Brooke. I didn't remember doing this. Brooke is a whole template, like the whole piece, which is fine. You don't need, like, I don't need to do that. I thought Brooke matched one of these. It matches neither. So, as weird as that is, I was like, what was I doing when I made this? I thought it would match one of them. No. So, that's another one. But I'm going to go through all the patterns and, you know, offer them. And if you don't want them and don't need them, it's fine. I got to cut one and add it on the website, and it's cute, and I get to use all the acrylic that I keep buying like a crazy person. So, do we have any questions or other suggestions or anything else people would like to know today?
All good. Great
All good?
options. Love the Sydney one. Template Club. Your Sojo is back.
It
in a
is.
great way.
It is. I have not actually sewed in a while, which is not a good thing. I need to do that, especially because I have a new machine. Janome, sorry, thank you. I haven't actually had a chance to sew. Well, this past weekend, I was like, I'm gonna sew. I have something I've been meaning to finish. I started a while ago. I want to sew, and I got so consumed with doing the templates that I didn't get anything else done. So I'm hoping that I will actually sit at my sewing machine this weekend and sew. That is, excuse me, what I'm gonna try to do. We'll see how it goes. I have a lot of cork to cut. It's everywhere.
Yes.
It's literally everywhere.
We're tripping over
There are
it.
rolls over there. There's rolls out there. I think more is being delivered today.
Oh boy.
There's a lot. So, well, you guys keep buying it. So I have to keep refreshing. Oh my God. Okay, I'm done. I'm finito. Unless you have any more questions, I think we're done for
Several
today.
people have said you're having a great hair day.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys know how to make me happy. I parted it in the middle, which I don't normally do, but I parted it in the middle when I didn't have bangs, and I felt really, really awkward. It looked
Like a tintype.
yeah, I don't know what I looked like, but it wasn't a good look. I tried it a few times. I saw a couple of Facebook videos where it was like that, and I was like, oh, no one told you?
Shelley
So,
says the word is replenishing.
replenishing. Thank you. Thank you,
I'm sitting
Shelley.
here thinking, what is it? Thanks, Shelley. I couldn't think of it either.
I have no idea. Yeah, so that's all. Was there anything else I wanted to say? There is one other thing I wanted to say. It has nothing to do with anything, but it's just, well, you know, it has to do with all of us, and it's a reminder to myself, to you guys, to everybody. I see this a lot, and I don't see this in our bag group because we're very nice, and we're nice to each other, and we're mostly nice to ourselves. Some of us are working on that, I know, but I see sometimes somebody's like, well, I made this bag, but it's not perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And I see it a lot, especially in other groups, where it's this, like, talking down about myself. And I do it in a joking way. I like myself. I think I'm pretty cool. I don't go home and go, you're horrible, I hate you. But I think we all have self-esteem problems to some point. Don't we all in some way? And I've been seeing this a lot lately where people just keep saying, like, I made this and I have to really work on it. I'm not getting any better. I'm terrible at bag making. I don't know why I keep doing this. And I don't think that they're doing it for attention. I think they genuinely are upset with themselves because they're looking at other people's things, and I see that too. I see everybody's stuff on here and it's so pretty and I don't have that talent. Stop doing that to yourselves. Like, seriously, we all need to stop doing that. I'm sure you guys look at other things that are quilted and you're like,
Oh my God,
I can't do that. I look at patterns that people come out with and I'm like, man. And the other day, and I did it to myself, and I'm not a jealous person. I'm happy for you if you're successful. That's great. I think there's room for everybody. Another pattern designer and supplier posted something like a quick video, and what they were showing had nothing to do. It was just like they panned over and I saw their cork, and I instantly was like, wow, that's a lot of cork, and they have a lot of room and they have invested a lot of money. And I was like, man. And you kind of get that moment where you're like, they're doing better than me. But why? What does it matter? So just remember this. The next time you see something and you're like, well, she sews better than I do, or she has more of something than I do, or something is better than what I can do, you are also making somebody else jealous. Somebody else is looking at what you're doing and going, wow, they're really good at that. I wish that I was good at that. Just always remember that. You might be envious of something that someone else can do. Guarantee you someone is envious of what you're doing. And I have to constantly remind myself of that. And I remember years ago, a friend of a friend had opened a bakery. And I was like, wow, she has her own business. That's pretty awesome. Like, wow, I can't believe she owns her own business. And I had to stop and go, you dummy, you own your own business. Why is it any different? Exactly. But it's because I didn't have a bakery or a shop. I didn't have that thing. I was like, well, I just have an office with stuff in it. It's not the same. And you're making someone jealous just as much as you are envious of someone else. So be nicer to yourselves. That's all. We all need to work on that. I know for sure. But, you know, you guys keep telling me my hair looks good. It makes me happy. You know, and you guys, you're supportive of me and I want to be supportive of you. And I want you to know that every single time you post something in our group and I tell you it's pretty, I'm not saying it just to say it. It is pretty. You're all more talented than you think you are.
Yep.
Every one of you. So pat yourself on the back. You're all doing good. Trust me. And you have 10 toes. So, I mean, you're succeeding at life. Hopefully. Maybe you have 8. I don't know. But poor Eric only has 9. So, on that, I'm going to go cut more cork and clean up the giant mess that I have made yet again. Barb is leaving us next week, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So just me and Marlene. So
Yeah,
maybe...
Myrtle Beach.
So we'll just trash talk Barb next week? Perfect. Okay. So
like the plan.
anything you want to
didn't
know.
trash talk her when she was gone.
Oh,
That's
that's
because
right.
I'm Italian. I'm perfect.
Oh yeah, far from it. That's
So
for
if there's
sure.
anything you want to know about Barb, she'll be gone next week. We can talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what we're doing next week, but we'll be here, and that's it. So have a good weekend. Be nice to yourselves, and go buy templates because I want to make more. They're fun.
She's obsessed.
I'm very obsessed. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye guys.